Hello again, everybody. Zacatech is here with my WWE Raw review for this Monday, September 24th, 2018. Taking place from the Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado. Been to Denver, never been to Pepsi Center, but I went by it a couple times when I was in Denver on vacation a couple years back. And before going any further in this Raw review, no, it's not wrestling related, but I just want to have an excuse to wear this badass bomber jacket I just got. A Prince bomber jacket. You can see giant ass symbol on the back with all of his prime albums from the 80s titles in the back of them. It's got a little black symbol. You should have done better with the front, but the back is like a work of art. Can't stop wearing it. And it was supposed to be a birthday gift from my dad. We had to buy it in April because the t-shirt was only available for like a week to buy. It was a limited time store, hit in one store, but it was delayed twice. So I finally got it last week. So I just wanted to have an excuse to wear it. So let's get on with the review here. Well, heading towards Raw tonight, Raw had a lot to kind of follow up on. You had a decent Raw last week, probably one of the best Raws in recent memory. And then you had the big news that Mysterio signed a full-time, two-year deal after lots of speculation about him coming back to WWE ever since his appearance at the Royal Rumble and his appearance as a pre-order character on WWE 2K19, which comes out in about a week or two. So they signed for 2 years. He wanted an 18-month deal. He can cop out after 18 months, but they signed him for a full 2 years. So, heading out of that, how did Raw do today? Decent. He was okay. He had some good stuff in there. He had a great tag team title match. Main event was fun and chaotic. He had some possible storyline scenarios, maybe a betrayal down the line, maybe building towards something. See how it all pans out. And then to see some tag teams take some opportunities they've not been handed since transitioning from NXT to main roster. Talk about those teams in a little bit. So let's begin with a new intro video. The Then Now Forever, we have a new graphic, and Hulk Hogan is in it. The reconciliation of Hulk Hogan and WWE continues as they're finally matching him again on television and having him in the intro for the company insignia. I like the new music. I'm sick. I like WWE, but I'm sick of the dun, dun, especially watching it multi-times a week like I do for pay-per-views and NXT, 25 Live, so it gets annoying. So we have a new video getting annoying after 5 years, or however long that video lasted. I like the graphic. I like it. So we would open up with the arrival of Stephanie McMahon, the birthday girl. Arrival of Triple H. Got some things on the brain concerning Connor's curing the end of Child Pediatric Cancer Month. But she addressed Baron Corbin's job evaluation as GM thus far. She's not very happy with him, especially him dealing with the Shield. So she named the main event the Shield against Baron Corbin and two partners of his choosing. If he doesn't do well, we may see Angle back from his vacation sooner than they thought. Baron Corbin's GM has been okay. He's been pro-heel, of course, but he's been trumped a few times. Pun the pun, people. So we'll see what he does tonight in our main event. But we'll see the guys who they would end up facing. Corbin and his partners. Find out who they are later. The Shield coming down from the crowd. Both 17 had a few words to say. With a few pops from the fans. Talking about Corbin getting his partners. And putting himself in title matches and all that stuff. As he put himself in a title match against Roman last week. And when Roman talked, he did get booed a little. Because when it all came out together, they got modest cheers. But when Roman spoke solo, he got booed. Even with the Shield, they still can't get Roman cheered. That's what happened. Like, Shield they cheer. When they solo, they boo. That's what happened last year when they reunited for a bit. So, the Shield was ready to fight now. They wanted to fight Corbin and his partners now. But Corbin did come out. Talking about how Stephanie's birthday. He's going to give her a great birthday gift. A beatdown of the Shield this evening. But we did not see his partners. Instead, we saw the Dogs of War come out. Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler. Those two will be defending the tag team titles later on in the evening. They're already booked. So they're not being Corbin's partners. Which would be the obvious picks. But, anywho, all three men was talking trash about the Shield, especially Braun Strowman, talking about how he's going to take Roman's title at Crown Jewel the event in Saudi Arabia in November. But then Dolphin Drew started talking to Dean Ambrose. Talking about how Seth and Roman talked about being the champions. And yet, Dean's the only one without a championship. At least they're planning on that. You know, he's like the lone man out here. You know, he has no title to call his own. He lost his opportunity with Seth at Hell in a Cell last week to capture the tag team belts from Dolphin Drew in a really good match. Probably the best match of the night of Hell in a Cell last week. See my review on this channel. Cheap. Anyway, they're saying like, you've been out for 9 months, Dean. They didn't talk to you to communicate with you. You are the odd man out here. And your brothers, well, at least one of them's turned on you before. You can turn on them tonight and join us. But there was no answer from Dean as they were about to have a little brawl. As Dogs of War came down to ringside, about to have maybe a brawl this year, but Baron, who wants to finally show some control as GM, said, no, we're not having this tonight. And that's how we end the opening segment. So on to our first matchup involving 2 guys who are participating in the Mixed Match Challenge. Finn Balor taking on the Maharaja, Monday Maharaja, Jinder Mahal. They're accompanied by their Mixed Match Tag Team partners. Bayley, who's teaming up with Finn, and Alicia Fox, who's teaming up with Jinder Mahal on the show on Tuesday. Man, Mixed Match Challenge got some problems. The Mixed Match Challenge 2 is starting to feel like the sequel to the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and in some ways, the Mae Young Classic too. The sequels of these great tournaments have been plagued with injuries, and Mixed Match Challenge 2 is no exception. Sadly, we had to see Alexa Bliss pull out, forcing the dissolution of Team Little Big, my favorite team of last year. But we do have the new Monster Eclipse, of course, Ember Moon, taking the opportunity to get on TV more and team up with Braun Strowman. While Sasha Banks is now out, she will be replaced by Mickie James to team up with Bobby Lashley. Weird combination. Could have picked any other person to team up with Bobby Lashley instead of Sasha, but nope, he had to pick Mickie James. Hopefully, Alexa and Sasha's injuries are not that severe to keep them out of Evolution. Bad timing for these injuries for them. So we had, like I said, Finn and Jinder with their partners from the Mixed Match Challenge at ringside. At least we finally get to see Balor team up with Bayley. That was a team we thought we were going to see in Season 1, but Finn teamed up with Sasha. So now we got Bayley. Finally, the real-life friends, especially from the NXT days. Decent little match here with Finn and Jinder here. Jinder trying to get some distraction from Alicia Fox. But near towards the end, as the guys were brawling it out, we did have some interaction from the women, with Alicia Fox trying to distract Finn, but then taken down by Bayley. And then she bellied the belly one of the Singh brothers. That was awesome. But then I think Jinder was going to put his hands on Bayley. But then Balor would roll up Mahal for that distraction. 1-2-3 victory for Finn Balor. We did try to see him do the coup de grace at one point, but Jinder didn't want out of the way. So these little matches will open up here. So these interactions with the competitors in the Mixed Match Challenge. We won't see these two face off this week, but we will see Bobby Lashley and Mickie James, who need a team name, taking on Mahalisha. Really, that's the name. Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. I think the SmackDown side of things, we got Miz and Asuka, Team Asuka, last year's winners, taking on Happy Rusev there. I think that's the team they're facing next week, if I know who they're facing. On tomorrow's show. The Singh brother almost got beaten down by Jinder after the match, but all 3 of them were doing their Shanti thing. Because that's the new gimmick for Jinder, the spiritual guru, the Shanti. Oh, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. See what I mean? I said it a couple weeks ago. Every time I say Shanti, it makes me think about the song by Madonna. So there you go. Now on to a 6-woman tag. Got changed from the original plans. Supposed to be Brie Bella against Ruby Wyatt, but then we realized they didn't want Ruby Wyatt to lose 2 weeks in a row to the Bellas in singles matches. Since they didn't want that to happen, decided to make it a 6-woman instead. The Wyatts going against the Bella Twins and their partner Natalia. Sloppy match. It was okay. The big talk here is a possible injury to Liv Morgan. Yeah, I like Brie. She's my favorite Bella. That's because she's better than you're playing. She is kind of a better wrestler, but man, she's showing some wing rust, man. Botching a dive a few weeks back, and then she really botched the it kicks. She legitly kicked the fuck out of Liv Morgan, possibly giving her a concussion. She was out for the majority of the match after that, so it became basically a handicap match. For the most part, Ruby Wyatt squad did try to get the numbers game. Despite that disadvantage, they didn't try to fight back. But the good girls were getting the advantage. Natalya did have a sharpshooter on at one point. Then Logan got a little antsy on the corner, distracting Natalya. And then Logan got pushed back in the ring and got locked in a sharpshooter. But then Ruby Wyatt took advantage of that, got back in, kicked the hell out of Natalya, delivering the Ruby Wyatt kick. The 1-2-3 victory. Ruby Wyatt actually wins. So, after, like I said, they were supposed to have a singles match. Happy they didn't. Instead of having Ruby Wyatt lose again to a Bella in a singles match, getting her buried by Super Bella! Super Bella! They decided to have her win an attack match. When this was made, I was like, oh, Natty's going to eat the pain here. Ruby. And get some more advantage heading towards the 6-woman tag with Ronda Rousey. Taking team with Bella Twins against Ruby Wyatt squad. So we have some good news and bad news for Ruby Wyatt. Good news is, at least she didn't get pinned by a Bella this week. Bad news, she'll be pinned by Ronda Rousey next week when they have their singles match next week. So, good of a double-edged sword. She gets a big win in tag team match, but we'll probably get her ass kicked by Ronda Rousey unless we have a screwy ending. Because like I said, these two will be interacting at the Super Showdown. Hopefully the match will remain as scheduled. Because it's supposed to be a 6-woman tag with a possible injury to Liv Morgan after getting legitimately kicked off by Brie Bella. Who knows what's going to happen. Brie did post a tweet after the match saying that every match on Raw is an opportunity for us to entertain our fans. Our intention as WWE superstars is to win the match, never injure our opponents, thinking about Liv Morgan tonight. So at least it was an accident, you know what I mean? But still, how many more accidents can we forgive Brie Bella for? For botching a dive and now with her it kicks being too stiff and legitimately injuring Liv and probably changing the match at Super Showdown. Hopefully Liv Morgan gets well and doesn't get a severe injury. Also, I need to mention there was a triple suplex spot. So some decent spots here, some spinning, especially from Brie. Brie was okay. At least we had the good result. Brie Bella team lost. Natalya ate the pin by Ruby Wyatt. So now we're on to this is the feud that sort of needs to end. Chad Gable once again taking on an Ascension member. We had Connor taking on Gable tonight after beating up on Victor last week, even with a distraction from Connor. Chad's been playing the egotistical superfan nerd, teaming up with Bobby Roode in an interesting little team. Although I would love to see Bobby Roode in a different tag team because I'm hearing a possible arrival from TNA, formerly of TNA. He was in NXT for like a second. And hopefully, I don't want to see Roode and Gable. I want to see a reunion of beer, money! Get Storm, man. Get Roode over here with Storm. Anyway, despite Gable wanting to pull another victory, there was no distraction this week. We had some distraction shenanigans last week, but there wasn't none of that this week. Despite Gable's best effort, he did get taken down shockingly as Connor would destroy Gable and deliver Dominator for the victory. Surprise here. 50-50 booking. But hey, you have to, Gable and Roode won 2 weeks in a row as a tag team. And then Gable won a singles match last week. And then the Ascension wins a singles match this week. At least the NXT tag team has been kind of fumbled creative-wise. I mean, Ross is getting somewhat of an opportunity with this. It's a singles win, but hey, any win the Ascension can get, they can take it. Speaking of tag teams for NXT fucked over on the main roster, we will get to the Raw tag team title match as the Revival finally gets their tag team title match against the guys who stole it from them, taking them out before their match against the B team a few weeks back and taking advantage of that taken opportunity. and getting the titles, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. Now, when this match was named, was like shit. You know what I mean? Revival had a better chance of winning against the B team. But for the second week in a row, the Raw Tag Team title match was pretty good. Revival got to show everybody why they were the top guys of NXT. They finally got to show it tonight. They looked really good in this match, and the crowd got invested. Even though it was heel against heel, they kind of sympathetically chose the Revival in this match. Because they're the lesser of the heels here that they hate. And the fact they kind of have some sympathy as Scott Dawson recently suffered a loss as his family home got submerged underwater from the recent Hurricane Florence. I kind of said that last week, but if I didn't, I am doing it. Send our thoughts to all those down in North Carolina, South Carolina. I got family down there in North Carolina, but thankfully they weren't affected by this. It was farther from them. They live in Asheville, North Carolina, not in the area that got destroyed. So, there you go. That great stuff here. Revival was really double teaming on Dolph in the early going with targeting on the arm, targeting on his injuries that he suffered at Hell in a Cell in the tag match, and of course the big fall he suffered in the main event from the side of the cell with Seth Rollins. So after the early advance from the Revival and a couple near falls, including a couple double cheat moves, I think they did a Doomsday Device. And then Drew McIntyre came in with a hot tag from Ziggler. Came with the big moves, big boots, and big kicks. And despite the false hope spot for Revival, the inevitable did come as the double Claymore zigzag finisher was delivered a dash rounder and the 1-2-3 victory as tag team champions retained. But I hope this makes people realize that the Ascension fucking Raw and so do the Revival, should I say. You know, we saw the Ascension get an opportunity. Singles win. Hey, it's a win for the Ascension. You know what I mean? The way how they've been booked to make roster to win for them. They'll take any win they can get. And then Revival looked really good tonight. The best they've looked to main roster. They had a really good tag match. Hopefully this make people, not only the people in the audience and the people at home, hopefully this make creative realize, book the Revival battle better. It's not FTR anymore. It's not fuck the Revival. It's PTR. Hashtag push the Revival. Yeah, that should be a hashtag. Instead of hashtag FTR, should be hashtag PTR. Push the Revival. Because he looked really good. And the crowd kind of got sympathetic for him. And actually wanted to be, they were kind of invested in the winning after those big false spots that they had in there. So hopefully they will be treated a lot better. They have been having, they had a little bit of a wall, you know, having big opportunities against Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley in July, and having a little feud against the B team that ended sadly with the attack from Drew and Dolph, taking them out of the scheduled tag team title match. I said it when Drew and Dolph won. I was happy they won, but it kind of fucked over Revival. This kind of makes up for it. Hopefully we see Revival more on TV and finally benefit more from this. And maybe they'll become baby faces? A babyface Revival? You need to be heel, like a heel Bobby Roode. Now on to our next segment, the Kevin Owens show. But before we got to see the host, we got to see Elias come out. They have a little alliance going on between Elias and Kevin Owens. They have a common enemy, Bobby Lashley. Especially they're going to team up with each other against Bobby Lashley and John Cena at the Super Showdown in Australia. Elias didn't want to give Denver a song because they suck. So instead, he was going to let Kevin Owens host the show. Owens and Elias have interesting chemistry with each other. We saw it last week, and then we saw it again, more importantly, this week in the talking segment as they brought out the new manager of Bobby Lashley, Leo Rush. I'm actually happy about this decision. I've been saying this for the last few weeks that we've been having some 205 integration. Been looking for that word for the last few weeks with Drake Maverick being manager for AOP. That's a weird fit. Leo Rush being manager for Bobby Lashley. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. It's a good mouthpiece for Lashley. He showed again tonight as he was bragging about the fact they were in Lashley's hometown, Denver, Colorado, probably the biggest pop he's ever had since his comeback, mostly because of the hometown thing. But we did have some interaction with Leo in making more short jokes. At least these short jokes made me belly laugh more than the stupid short jokes they did during the shitty ass Big Cass Daniel Bryan feud earlier this year with the booster seat. Now that was legitimately funny. When they brought that out for Leo, when he refused to come down to the ring, he's just stood on the Titantron, fearing he was going to get beat up. But he would send his big man, the hype man for the big man, Bobby Lashley, would come down to help his hype man out to get ready for this match against Elias. We had a screwy ending last week. We had another one tonight. I'll get to that. But it was still a decent little match. A little bit longer than last week. We did have some more shenanigans with Leo Rush. But Lashley was strong early. It was a big power. I did like the spot like Elias was going up the top for something. Got caught in midair. The power of Lashley was really shown there. But then Elias got the advantage by clipping the knee. They're targeting that knee for the majority of the match. And having a big high spot knee of his own when he jumped up the top over the jumping knee. That was shown during commercial. Like that, that was shown later on. They was doing commercial. But so after that, a little brawling for these two. Like I said, we did see Leo Rush get involved as he kind of tried to trip up Elias as Kevin Owens chasing him around the ringside area. And then Elias and Lashley were brawling on the floor a little bit. And then in the midst of the chase between Owens and Leo, Owens would run into Bobby Lashley, causing a disqualification. For the second week in a row, we have a DQ finish. Last week, we had Bobby Lashley lose his match against Elias thanks to Leo Rush inadvertently attacking Elias with referee looking. This week, Elias lost to last week of another inadvertent DQ with Kevin Owens getting involved, shoving Lashley in a pursuit. And they were trying to once again beat up on Leo, trying to powerbomb him. He was saved once again by Bobby Lashley. That's how we end that. So there you go. I thought this would set up for maybe a tag match, maybe see Leo Rush wrestle, but well, he's just the manager. Like Drake Maverick, they don't wrestle, they just manage. Drake manages on both Raw and 205 Live. He's GM there, but still. But we will see Bobby Lashley wrestle against Kevin Owens next week. Heading towards them at the Super Showdown. Like I said, they have a tag. So before we get to our next matchup, there's a little mind games with, about where does the allegiance lie of Dean Ambrose after being talked to in front of everyone to him by Dolph and Drew saying that, the Shield don't care about you. They're using you. Seth tried to turn the tables later on by talking to Drew McIntyre about him being used, which is kind of true here. He's been riding on the Josh's been riding his coattails ever since he arrived to main roster again after WrestleMania. So there's little mind games going on. We'll see how that would play out in our main event. But on to our next affair, Nia Jax, who returned after a knee injury last week. She was in singles action, being accompanied by her tag team partner from last week, Ember Moon, against Alicia Fox. It was a new outfit and a new hat. She had a different hat that she wore when she came out to help out Jinder Mahal in his match against Finn Balor earlier. So we would have a little match here. We did have some shenanigans. Alexa Bliss is injured, but I think she can have some limited activity, but not take hits or something. Like I said earlier, hopefully she's not legitimately out of Evolution, especially with the fact that she has a match against Trish Stratus scheduled. Fox did try to take advantage of some distractions, but of course the inevitable obviously Fox would fall prone to the Samoan drop of the big Nia Jax in the victory. So a little match here with these two. Before I go any further, I need to mention they did do a segment early in the evening ending the awareness month for pediatric cancer funding for cancer research through the Connor's Cure Foundation. They had all the superstars come out to greet Triple H and Stephanie in the ring as they were talking about their new sponsor for the Connor's Cure campaign, Hyundai. You couldn't get an American company? Really? Be patriotic here. But anyway, we did have Hyundai guy come out for the Cure on Wheels or something campaign, and having some young ambassadors, Elizabeth and I think Foster, I forgot his name. They were handed championship belts, And Hyundai gave a $200,000 check to Connors Security who sponsor the presentation, but great little presentation. So we have some news on that front. Yay, it's the end of spreading awareness for Child Pediatric Cancer Month. But we're going to see those ropes turn pink again because we got Breast Cancer Research Month, Awareness Month, starting next week. So there's that. So now on to our main event. The Shield in a six-man tag, the first action on Raw in a year since they reunited again. Taking on Baron Corbin and his two partners. I thought to myself, who could it be? Could it be AOP? It was AOP. At least finally we get to see AOP step away from being up a jumpa teams for the last few weeks. Now we get to see him actually take on real competition against the Shield. But we did have some visitors as Drew and Dolphin Braun came down the ringside and had cheers that they were going to put on the edge of the Titantron to watch the match from there. It was a chaotic main event, let's say that much. AOP did have some good moments, including a stretch of Drake Maverick finally using his managerial authority and showing his heel side by taking advantage of that distraction from him. AOP would dominate early on, isolate Reigns, including delivering the last chapter on Roman on the floor at one point. So Roman took a little nappy-wappy for about 10 minutes. Then Seth was isolated a little bit. We did have some distractions from the Dogs of War at ringside, which the heels would take full advantage of. And that's when the heels advance began, especially when they took out Roman for a bit with the last chapter of AOP. And then after, like I said, they isolated Seth for a bit after taking out Roman. Dean Ambrose did get active with the hot tag, gave him some big moves. He did deliver the Dirty Deeds at one point to Baron Corbin. But then the endings come with all six guys brawling. We had the last chapter on Ambrose. And then we had the stomp from Rollins at one point to Corbin. Then Reigns would, it said Rollins that dives at everyone on the side. This when the ending came with the chaotic stomp, and the spots, the dives, the stomp, the Dirty Deeds, Corbin, and Corbin would later eat the spear from Roman Reigns, and the 1-2-3 victory for the Good Time team. At least AOP did not eat the pin. Corbin did. So as the Shield was celebrating, it was just Seth and Roman in the ring. Dean was left out of celebration at one point because Roman did blind tag himself in. Because Dean had the match well in hand. Like I said, he did deliver the Dirty Deeds. Need to mention that after that, Roman tagged himself in. That's when he got the spear and the victory. So Ambrose had some mixed feelings about it. As he was walking out to the Titantron, he saw Drew, Dolphin, Braun asking Dean to join down. But Dean's like, yeah, we're back in the ring. Then the Shield pose as we ended the show. So there goes some decent stuff, some decent action, chaotic main event. The Shield's main events recently been filled with chaos and a lot of overbookedness, as you would say. A lot of people getting involved. You had the Dogs of War getting involved in the match, and Drake Maverick was getting involved at one point. But it was still a fun, chaotic way to end Raw. And start continuing to build for Super Showdown. You got some matches next week announced. Rousey against Ruby Wyatt one-on-one. Either it's going to be clean or we got to have some screwiness there. We also got Lashley against Owens. Hope we have a clean finish in that one after screwy finishes with him and Elias last 2 weeks. And we have Shawn Michaels showing up to once again continue the hype for Super Showdown. The match that no one asked for, Taker against Triple H, with Kane and Shawn at ringside for their respective corners. Empire setting up a tag match at Saudi Arabia with Shawn returning to the ring. I'm also hearing Stone Cold's the guest referee. That was linked by the promoters over the weekend. They haven't officially announced it on WWE television yet. They may announce it next week, but they should not do it. They're really pulling the Legends card a little bit too much on this one. Hey, Saudi Arabia wants Hogan and The Rock to show up to their show. So we'll see what happens with that scenario. But with that being said, you've been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. I do say that a little bit. But see you next time. Bye-bye.